I craft stories as a ritual and an ode to having lived and loved as the maiden and mother. I string words together to form carefully thought out spells, both poetic and full of symbolism, to the feminine mysteries. I write because my heart is heavy and desires to be lightened, and I believe women need to write to unburden the bodily and societal trauma we all experience. We are born with a voice that can be felt through how we weave our hearts and souls into lines that can be read as prayers or liberators. And this is our magic. I fuse my blood into the stories that long to change me, and to aid the hearts of those who seek to re-remember what it means to be a human being, what it feels like to embody a wild primal light that returns us like wet babes upon the earth. Welcome to this beautiful part of YouTube where I share my stories and magic with you. This is a safe space to open up your hearts and minds, and I implore you to do so. This book is an extremely special project of mine that's very intimate and personal and has never really been shared properly. And in it, I birth, as I like to put it, stories of powerful earth-slicked women and the golden men who love them. Here are some of my words. The world of the forest gives them everything they want. Soulful honey season, water-laden trees. You are of the forest, the heart of glorious song, exciting, overpowered, mysterious, full of sunlight. A cascade of great forest. You belong to the forest, full of the very earth itself, free of any limitations and free to experience sheer beauty, truth, and goodness. For the forest has given us happiness, blessed by the moon. Before we get into the rest, I just wanted to share a little bit about my process, and hopefully you can follow along and visually see and understand what I'm doing. As I grew into this medium, you will witness my boost in confidence to create longer verses, add more, poetic jazz to the words, and just to feel a bit more carefree and liberated with the expression, without expectation, without needing it to make sense. In my mind, I feel like the answers were there, the story was there. Hopefully you'll witness this growth and how I feel more inclined to go more deeply and profoundly into each story. And that gave me the confidence and the inspiration to create a larger story, which is paired with this video. So if you have a look in my description, you'll find a link to my blog where you can read my short story called The Fire of the Hunt. And it features a lot of the words and lines that I'll be reading to you in the following clips. What you're witnessing is a spontaneous process that is unprecedented. It has no forethought behind it. I have no idea what words are going to capture my attention, what words want to be cut out. So in the moment, in that season, that time of the month for me, you see me experiencing different ways of telling a story. So sometimes they're very simple, sometimes they're more drawn out, they're a bit longer, and they always feel like they belong somewhere. So within a short story or in a poetry book as just a few verses. So I cut them out, I bring them together, and they just seem to form, shape, and mould into their own worlds. They aren't belonging to any one place. They are open to interpretation. They are open to be experienced and witnessed in their simplicity, while also, possibly belonging to a larger world, which is the world I created with my short story. This is when the fire of the hunt was born. He was a fine hunter. She gazed without blinking outside her hut. Squatting over the fire, she seemed a witch amongst the forest world. He then told the girl to come and see the places where the forest is at its gentlest and kindest. His mouth up against her ear, her eyes were deep when they would flirt, and she looked just a little dangerous when she smiled or laughed. She dyed her body with designs of vines and fruits. He had caught her swiftly, silently. He was a very great hunter. That first night, satisfying themselves with pleasure, close to a stream of crystal water, there was no longer any need for silence. He whispered in my ear when it was dark, beckoned with his head that I should come outside. He could not be refused, saying in his deep bass voice he had not tasted my pretty forest body. There are few dangers in the forest. They walk along the forest trails with a strange natural luminosity. So silently they wait, listening for the little slip of a girl, climbing treetops so dark they're almost black, in search of inaccessible honey. Once, as though they were gods, the men in the shadows, powerful, muscular, eyes as bright as the coals, each with bow and arrows, stood on the far side of the river where the moon found its way down through the rustling trees, pointing for a beautiful girl called Madia. The following words are an embodiment of her feminine energy. The women knew where to find this glade with mushroom-shaped roofs. Small animals scampered about and 2 cauldrons boiling over the fire, the flames leaping upwards into the night. The women believe that sacred hunting fire went billowing up to the invisible sky with ritual song, and the women like to sing to maintain some semblance of unity. Daughter of legends, still wounded, I shattered my illusions, destroying, conjuring up thunder and lightning with my voice. Maidens, circles, breasts, moonlight, I have seen where the fire is lit through the forest. It was pitch dark now, though the moon was full. I remember one of the greatest sins was to quiet the fire of the hunt. I've given you Madia's voice, who is also an embodiment of me, but now I'd love to welcome you to Balak, who is the love interest for the story, and he's very unpredictable, mysterious, and enigmatic. So I hope you'll see what I'm talking about in the following words. Once, as though they were gods, the men in the shadows, powerful, muscular, eyes as bright as the coals, each with bow and arrows, stood on the far side of the river where the moon found its way down through the rustling trees, pointing for a beautiful girl called Madia. He looked up at the tree for a last time. He had his hands up to his mouth and gestured. From here, light filtered its blessing. All was a great ritual. All was green and fresh. The forest is the place for spirits of the dead, and at times it can be so powerful, overwhelming in its mountainous immensity. The hunters, as if they were a part of the silence and the darkness of the forest itself, had heard the thunder and were motionless. Balak, the chief, always listened, his sinister mouth provoked in a terrible way, hungry like an animal. If you want to know what happens next, please head over to my blog and check out the rest of the story. In the meantime, please enjoy a flip through of the actual book itself, where all these stories have been read from. You can pause and read them yourself, see how I've laid them out, take pictures, come back to them later. I'd love for you to do that. This is it from Lena Earthen, my video about when women craft stories. Keep crafting, keep loving, keep sharing who you are in your authentic truth, and the world will respond in the most beautiful way to you. So this is it, all my love, and enjoy the rest of the video, and I hope to see you back soon.